think we're live. Just can never tell anymore. What is up, Jeromes? We are back on the Daily Jeromes live stream. It's Friday, so it means we're rolling 9 a.m. Central Time. Monday through Thursday, we will be going 11 a.m. Central Time, per usual. That is what we do. So welcome in. Thank you very much for coming along. Making us part of the day. Hopefully that's not Rona. Making us part of your day. Jerome's in the live stream. You guys are always the best. Also, we have announcements. So on Monday, the Vikings will be live streaming their afternoon practice 2:15 p.m. Central Time. It'll be on their website, on social media, as well as Fox 9 and KFan 100.3. I think I said 101.3 before, but that's KDWB. Anyway, but we will be also doing a companion piece. We'll be live streaming ourselves. Now, we obviously can't show the stream, but what you can do, pull up the stream and then have the audio of us just chirping, the video of us just watching. Hey, that's pretty good. But it'll be a good time. It'll be an extended Daily Jerome's live stream. We'll do that Monday afternoon. It's going to be a fantastic time. It's here as we're starting to populate. It's always weird. If you want to support the show and want to support the work, purpleftew.com/support. All of our various sponsors on it. Lisa Mattress, you get yourself some discounts on some good gear and good products. It's always a good time. Support us by supporting yourself and support them, and everyone supports everyone. It's always a good time. There you go. purpleftew.com/support. It's the first link in the stream's description. There you go. So Friday. Didn't put on an add-on question because I got lazy. All right, so we're going to hop through these, and then we'll be off to the weekend. Charlie Boltman, should the Vikings start of trade talks again with the Las Vegas Raiders for guard? It's just weird to say Las Vegas Raiders. They'll grow on us. Guard tackle, Denzel Good. He started in 5 games last year. Was ranked PFF's 24 overall guard. He's currently buried on the Raiders depth chart as the third-team right tackle. He's on a 1-year, $3.2 million deal as a former 7th-round pick. All right, let's take a look. Denzel Good. He's from Ohio State, isn't he? Actually, I should probably look. So Arlands, Denzel Good. Oh, sorry, NC State. Oh, then you got a little bit of Garrett Bradbury hashtag chemistry. Be a good time. So Denzel Good. I vaguely remember looking up his numbers during the off season. I didn't really go too in depth, but man, that offensive line is interesting. All right, so Good came in, formerly of Indy. Is Kush. So offensive line left to right. So you got Colton Miller, who's not as good as Brian O'Neill, even though he's taken the first round same year. The indomitable Richie Incognito. Rodney Hudson's still doing the damn thing. Gabe Jackson, even though they tried to trade him this offseason. Trent Brown, okay, the highest paid tackle in NFL history, plays right tackle. Just all right. So Parker. John Simpson coming from Clemson. I liked him during the draft process. David Sharp is whatever. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. All right, next up is World War II General Vince Vaughn. There's just something about eating at a restaurant that has actually hot wings, ordering the hottest and looking your waitress in the eye as you sweat and tear up. It is always good. Now, the Buffalo Wild Wings, like their hottest wing. It's hot, but it's not like hot. You know what I mean? Like certainly for the gringo palate, it does have some spice, but also I feel like it actually does have flavor. Where you do have some sauces that are just strictly heat, and you don't get actual chili flavor. It's good. Also, I remember. So in Winona, there's this bar right off of campus called Zaza's, and it's a great place because it's actually a restaurant, so 18-year-olds can go in. So when we were freshmen, sophomores, Zaza was always the place to be, especially Wednesdays. It's when they did their wings, and they had this like nuclear habanero flavor. It was always good because, of course, a bunch of jabronis we get together and it turned into a dick measuring contest. Like, oh, we can do this. We can don't drink water. Blah, blah, blah. It's good. Preacher Paul, holler for all y'all. Morning, was up. Let's see here. Tyler, greatest receiving core of all time. Mine is greatest. Moss, Carter, and Vikings ball boy Larry Fitzgerald. Yeah, that's sneaky. That's actually like a good trick trivia question. Like, did Chris Carter, Randy Moss, and Larry Fitzgerald ever share a sideline? Technically, yes. But also, you throw in Jake Reed, who's a multi-year 1,000-yard receiver before Randy Moss got there. Yeah, Matthew Hatchett, who actually got a touchdown in the NFC title game against the Falcons. I mean, that wide receiver core went deep. Oh, plus they had Chris Walsh, special teams dynamo. Well, it was pretty damn good. Preach ball. Jeffrey Sams, any hints from the coaches if they think Udo has a role to play this year? Not from what I've seen, but also based on Ola Udo's tape last year. I mean, how can you not get him involved, right? So I actually think that he will step in because we went over the Vikings offensive line depth chart yesterday, which is, as of right now, is just like. But I think he'll step in at second team right tackle. I think Rashad Hill will kick over to second team left tackle. Blake Brandel's been playing second and third team left tackle, which is promising, which I think is big and cool. But also, don't freak out over Ezra Cleveland playing only third team. He's getting some second team reps, so just like don't piss yourself. It's early. Sure. Breach ball. In some weird way, the way things are this year with the Rona, I think we're going to be fine without Everson. Give the others more opportunity as we get younger. Don't have that awkward goodbye. End of his career. What's your thoughts? When again that Cook can show up, is that you, Rona? I don't know. Whenever producer Ali bugs me enough to actually, we'll do it. Or I don't know. We'll get it going. PurpleFTW.com/support. Just give some love to our advertisers, and then we'll get that going. It always is better to move on from a player a little bit too early than too late. I mean, with Vikings saw that with Chad Greenway when he was an absolute effing ability on defense. All-time great player. Should be Vikings Ring of Honor. But Chad Greenway, like the early 2010s, was a dude. Late aughts as well. Like he was just absolute nail driver, just a stud. But towards the end. No. And also, I agreed when the Vikings moved on from Jared Allen 2014. So Jared, he earned every single penny of that 6-year contract, went to the Bears. The Vikings were right to keep it in with Everson Griffin, giving Everson the big contract at the time. And frankly, now I think it may be right to move on from Everson and then pass the torch to Fadi. Circle of life. It's like when B-Rob passed it to, initially, the Vikings' two defensive ends were Jared and Ray Edwards. Amateur boxer Ray Edwards just being fed tomato cans all over the place. Go look that up. It's just like whatever. All right. So and then eventually Edwards gave way and went to Atlanta, and then Brian Robinson was plopped in, and then Jared Allen gave way to Everson Griffin. Everson was plopped in. Then B-Rob gave way to Daniel Hunter. He was plopped in, and then Everson gave way to Afadi. Now he's plopped in, and then eventually Daniil will give way to no one, and then maybe Afadi gives way to I don't know DJ Wanham in a couple years. It's possible. Here. Next up is World War II General Vince Vaughn. I'm curious. I feel like now the Vikings unsuccessfully tried to lowball Everson. What's the remaining free agent list look like and possibly trades? Falcons want to give up Grady Jarrett. I mean, if the Falcons do want to give up Grady Jarrett, it'll be fine. I mean, maybe Garrett Bradbury will have some PTSD from his week 1 matchup with Grady last year. I swear, like 90% of the pressures that Bradbury gave up were against Grady in week 1. It's not true, but it felt like that way. I think the free agent list is relatively minute. I think the Vikings are definitely in spendthrift mode. So I don't see Logan Ryan. I definitely don't see Clowney. I don't even see Josh Klein. So there was a moment in time when Josh Klein was still back on the Vikings radar. So Blake Brandel, if you remember, he initially picked up number 64, which is Josh Klein's number last year. Horrible number for a tackle anyway, but that's beside the point. And then for a hot second, Brandel switched to 62, and then now recently he's back on 64 because I think that the window closed. I wouldn't be shocked if they gave like Kenny Willekes 97 now. Vince Vaughn, is it possible to admit to being a narcissist and actually be one at the same time? Yes, I did it yesterday. Vince Vaughn, do you think Belichick hires scouts to fly drones 1,500 feet above every outside practice field? Can they fly at 1,500 feet? Because I think eventually, like they just can't keep circling that area. It's like how, why doesn't the helicopter just fly as high as the jet? Well, they can't because the air gets too thin. I don't know, but it's possible. Like a couple weeks ago, there was a drone flying into Target Field, and I'm just like, it's Belichick. Scouts got screwed up. They went to the wrong place. Skull Zone. Do you think that KJ Osborne would have a role in our offense? I'm starting to like him more and more. And also, do you think DJ Wanham, James Lynch could both be eventual full-time starters? I think they definitely can. Wanham, yes. Lynch, I really like Lynch. It depends on where it's going to be. Maybe it's inside. Hell, maybe he's going to be the future 3-tech. It's extremely possible. Add a little bit of weight. I think he certainly has that strength to not be a liability, even against the run. I think they certainly could get it done. Like that 4th round, put in Troy Dye, could be legendary. KJ Osborne, overall in the offense. I don't think right away. I think potentially down the line. I think that he is a better receiver than he's generally given credit for. As he's a return guy. He's a return guy. But I think initially anything that he adds to the offense will be a bonus to start. And it's hard not to compare him to Jarius Wright just because he's short receiver who wears number 17. I think Jarius Wright was a touch faster as well. But dude does have a nose for finding space and he can be pretty explosive. Like he does seem to turn every single play into a punt return, where not like on the level of Brandon Ayuk, but I mean he certainly does have some talent. Also, like go back if you can find some of his Buffalo tape. Well, that's really good. Some of the U stuff is just more customary, but at Buffalo when he was with Tyree Jackson, I mean of course Tyree Jackson is just going to chuck it. Like he's got some deep ball skill. He does. Next up, Charlie Boltman. Does Anthony's never settle need to beat out Jalen Holmes for the hybrid defensive end 3-tech spot in order to make the 53-man rooster? I can't see him beating out Kenny Willekes after Patterson said he almost selected Willekes over Wanham in the 4th. Andre damn near glowed when he talked about Willekes' work ethic. Willekes is going to be hard to beat. I think it may come down between Zettel, Holmes, and maybe even Hercules for 1 or 2 roster spots. Kenny Willekes is going to be good. Thomas Miles Jr. I grew up in Tulsa. I was a Vikings fan. All my friends liked the Cowboys, of course. At the time, it was because of the Vikings. My friends liked the Cowboys. I admit I may have told my friends I liked the Cowboys. It was because of the Vikings. My friends liked the Cowboys. So, so you were a Vikings fan, and your friends were Cowboys fans just to spite you. Just to own the Thomases. That'd be funny. Jeffrey Higginbotham. I like Odenigbo, Andy, but do you see him having the gas tank he needs to hold up for a whole season? I'm a little suspect. I mean, yeah. It's not like he has conditioning issues. He's a full-time starter at Northwestern. He'll be fine. Thomas Miles Jr. By the way, we could afford $6K. We could have paid more than $6K for $6 million. I would pay Everson $6K right meow. Thomas Miles Jr. Since I have to change my full high-risk PPE, I only listen for a few minutes live. I will listen on lunch break, but then listen to the live stream after work. Rockstar. Thank you. Next up is Pulver Skull. Have you seen the Cowboys safe stadium plan for allowing fans? Pretty good model. Understanding every state's guidelines are different. It gives hope. Chance team states will allow fans will have 1/3 capacity to start as things evolve. Down here max near the playoffs. So we'll be watching and see how it works. Our movie theaters finally reopen next week here in Tennessee. That's really about the last thing closed. I don't know, man. I haven't come across the Cowboys one. I know that Jerry Jones is saying, well, it's going to be half capacity but it is going to vary from state to state. I think that teams that have more open policies, depending on city and state, will have massive advantage because they'll actually have that home field advantage as opposed to just playing in a bubble as like the NBA, Major League Baseball you're seeing. So I think as of right now, I think the Vikings will probably start out the first couple of games with no fans. Maybe that changes. Maybe it doesn't. But it'll be it'll be funny and very hypocritical. Where, hey, Vikings, you can't have any fans in stadiums, but yes, the city of Minneapolis did allow you to open up Commons Park, so you can have a couple thousand Vikings fans, not socially distancing, just hanging out. And also there'll be food and drink, so there'll be no masks. But yeah, don't be in that stadium. Don't be in that state-of-the-art, well-ventilated, doors-open stadium. You be outside on the lawn. It's just, no, okay. But we'll see. I mean, everyone does have guidelines to follow. Check the boxes. Next up, Stanley Morris. Who's winning a fight? Vlad the Impaler versus Julius Caesar. Well, Caesar couldn't even beat off a bunch of no-account senators. Although he did stick one with his stylus, which pen. But Vlad the Impaler was kind of a bad dude, but also Vlad the Impaler was a bad dude, like on a personal level. Like he definitely killed his share of townfolk. But also Julius Caesar committed genocide against the Gauls, like full on. Like history remembers Caesar as like, oh, it's Caesar, Veni Vidi Vici, came I saw conquer, slaying all the ladies, Cleopatra, all that stuff. But Julius Caesar essentially wiped out and enslaved an ethnic group for political gain. Like he really did. That's not laudable. It isn't. But even though Caesar is still one of my favorite historical figures, but in a one-on-one fight, I would take Vlad. Yeah. Jason Sash, do you have any... Wait, Vlad the Impaler like the actual person, or Vlad the Impaler the robot from BattleBots? Which, then I'd take the robot. Jason Sash, do you have some sort of big Vikings collection, jerseys, card memorabilia? And if so, would you consider doing some sort of walkthrough sometime? By the way, the Sage in my name is pronounced just like the word sage. Sage Rosenfels. I don't really have a lot of Vikings gear or memorabilia. Like basically, it's kind of on the wall. Right? I've never really been like big into collectibles. Like certain fans definitely respect. They go full on. They got the purple basement. It's like a Viking shrine. It's great. But honestly, if you walk through my house, you would probably never guess that I'm a Vikings fan. And yeah, of course I obviously am. But I don't know, just like. Never's really been my thing. I used to have a lot of jerseys as a kid, but I kind of got out of that. But I don't know. Like if you walk through the house, like what would you guess I would be? I don't know. You might not even think that a dude lives here, to be honest. It's just all kids. It's like a daycare. Next up, Pulford Skull. Also, hey, let us know where you're watching from. I'll give a couple shout outs on this blessed Friday. Pulford Skull, happy Friday, Andy. Coming home to Minnesota next week for a mini vacation. Excited to see the family, do some fishing, eat at Zorba's. I've been up to Lakes Country, Andy. I have the amazing Zorba's. Yeah, Zorba's really good. All right, so the whole thing about Zorba's is that I feel like they greatly benefit from people being up north, because up north is always a good experience. It's like how I like Chicago, because the only times I'm in Chicago is on vacation. And so you have that vacation honeymoon effect, whereas I'm sure if I lived in Chicago, I would hate it. I would see it for all its flaws. But so when you're up north, you're on the boat, you're getting sunshine, you got vitamin D, you're knocking back a couple of brewskis, you're reeling in a couple of pike and walleye. It's always good. So it just that pizza, just like, it's good. But say if you took it out of the vacuum, just like a blind taste test at some facility in St. Paul, and they'd be like, that's pretty good. But no, it is good because of the location, because of the memories, and they're good peeps. Also, I feel like Greek food, extremely underrated. Yeah. Next up is Spartus JX. Hey, Andy, what do you think about this lineup for the 2021 Vikings captains offense? Cousins, Dalvin, Thielen, Rudy, Barr, Kendricks, Hunter. I don't think he'll remove Reef. I mean, Riley Reef was named a captain 2018 without ever being on the team. Like same thing with Cousins, I guess. So Zimmer has said he wants Dalvin to be a captain. It'd be really weird to rescind a captainship. I guess they did with B-Rob, but that's when he stepped back and took a different role. I don't see Thielen as a captain. I feel like Thielen, Harrison, They're just like, we don't need to be captains. We'll just lead in our own right. But Cousins, yes, because it's awkward when your quarterback's not a captain. Dalvin, yes. Probably still Rudy, probably still Reef. And then Barr, Kendricks. I don't know if it gives a seat to Hunter. It actually might be all three linebackers. So Barr, Kendricks, and Eric Wilson. Eric Wilson being the special teams captain, which frankly probably should have been last year. Let's hear a couple shout outs. Preacher Paul, Honolulu for all. He's going to be in Afton, Minnesota. What's going on? Afton, that's where we go for apple picking. It's good times. Not for skiing. I'm like the only person in Minnesota who doesn't ski because F that noise. Let's hear. Zach Bell, Skull from NoCo. What is up? Nicholas D. Skull from Germany. Guten Tag. Brian Kayukin, Skull from Mesa, Arizona. 116 today. By the way, we have Culver's in and out here. Culver's phenomenal. In and out. So my theory about in and out is I apply my wire theory or the wire theory to it, where the wire is massively overrated but still really good. Right, so things can be really good and still massively overrated by the masses. In and out is that for me. In and out is really, really good. Get yourself some double animal style. Come on, son. Shoot. But also it is overrated. I feel like Whataburger is up there. Like we'll have to do like national burger rankings sometimes. But yeah, it's great that Culver's branching out. Double J57 Skull watching from the Driftless. Lucky. I technically grew up southeast Minnesota, so like the Minnesota side of the Driftless area with hills and shit. It was good. Big Grover Skull from Compton. Been here for years. Fiscal Media 1K. Skull from Hop, Minnesota. Wait, like Hopkins? No. Gage Dilworth, Minnesota. What is up? Arik Becker. Skull from New Prague. You've ever been to Dozinski Days? I have not. There you go. Also, so live chat announcement. So Monday, the Vikings are going to be live streaming their practice afternoon. We're going to be doing a companion live stream. Obviously we can't show their live stream, but you'll be able to watch it. So here's what you do. Pull up their live stream either on Vikings.com social media, or if in the area, it'll be on Fox 9 or blah, blah, blah. But then mute it, and then we'll be here just like a normal live stream. We'll have the Jerome's live chat. We'll do that. We'll hang out, and we'll talk about the practice. Like, hey, Nate Stanley's garbage. Then probably talk about, I don't know, like ribs or something. Chris Larson Skull from Rochester, Med City. What is up? Thank you, gentlemen, for coming along on the live stream. It's always a good time. Next up, World War II it's on. Let's be real here. The number one truest Jerome out there is Preacher Paul. If you had to make a Preacher Paul Hall for all y'all t-shirt, I would buy it. Just like the Foo Fighters song, My Hero stands for everyday grinders like truck drivers. All essential workers are my hero. That's true. Where Preacher Paul is the numero uno Jerome. I think all the hardcore Jeromes will agree on that. Maybe we should make a Preacher Paul shirt. We're still working on the stainless mugs, and by working, I mean like... Producer, I'll get the stainless steel mugs. Brian Kayukin, how will the Vikings spend the rest of the cap this year? Are they going to save the money? Any chance Reef restructures? Chiefs signed 3 huge stars, but Vikings haven't been able to secure Harris, Cook, and Chiefs are full on. The cap is a mess. So last year they signed Tyreek, Frank Clark, and Sammy. They signed someone else to a big deal. And then they signed Chris Jones and Kelsey and Mahomes, and just like, yeah, whatever. Shit. I think Reef could restructure, but actually not restructure. I think he could be a pay cut candidate, and just like literally the day before final cuts, be like, hey, we need you to take $3 million less. And what's he gonna do? Say no? He's not going to be on the roster at another camp. He's not going to get even the level of coin that he would on the pay cut. So I think that could be the gangster ass move by the Vikings. And I think that they will roll the cap to next year. They have significant cap liabilities next year, even though a lot of them they get out from under. So like Barr, Reef, Rudy, they could easily move on. Stefan. Next up, Westworld. I do basketball. Skull from the Paul. What up? Brock Jane. Skull from Toronto, Canada, baby. Ontario proud. Westworld. Who is this producer Allie you speak of? She's our producer. When I looked her up, the first thing that appeared was a transport company that ships vegetables. Ha ha ha. I get it. No, I'm not much of a vegan, but I found that pretty neat. Also, it's ironic because I feel like she has a quasi-vegan face. Yeah. Producer Allie used to be a Daily Norseman. I met a couple years ago. She does some help behind the scenes. She's a rock star. Basically, all of like the gear, all of like the stuff that you see on the website, all the social media, that's her. We could not do the show without her. Well, we could, except I would do a piss poor job at a lot of the stuff that she does, and it would like drive me nuts. So it's great that she's here. Next up, Big Grover, Andy C. Hard Knocks. If he has 2 questions, how smooth is Anthony Lynn taking Derwin James sunglasses, and should McVay get a prenup with his fiance? Also, not a question. McVay is Jack, except he's jacking like a little guy away, like Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran's not Jack. I have not seen the episode of Hard Knocks. It is on the DVR. I'm probably gonna watch it this weekend. Anthony Lynn is a cool dude. He really is. I think he's underrated. I feel like Sean McVay is massively overrated. So there was a rumor or report earlier in the week about Monday Night Football reached out to McVay if you wanted to quit coaching and just go in the booth. If you wanted to pull a full John Madden. So John Madden, people forget, like he retired from coaching like really young. Like he finally reeled off that Super Bowl with the Raiders. And so PFR John Madden. Also born in Austin, Minnesota, by the way. John Madden. Cool. So he retired at 42. Been coaching the NFL for a decade. Finally won a Super Bowl in 76. And just like, I'm going to the booth. Eventually I'm going to create some... if you're John Madden in 1979 and they said, hey, you're eventually going to have the most successful sports video game of all time, he'll be like, boom. Oh, you mean like Pong? Boom. Actually, I don't even know if Pong was around back then. Or Atari. Burp. Nah. Next up. Oh, so you guys remember the video game Duck Hunt? So I always had this theory. Duck Hunt. So we'll bring it up for like the young kids who don't even know what we're talking about. All right, so Duck Hunt is this great game on Nintendo, and also they had it was one of the first games that had its own adapter. So on Nintendo, besides the controllers, you could also plug in this plastic gun, and that's what they used it for. I always thought, what would happen if you could find a TV that was literally like postage stamp size. Like if you could create a TV that was this big and you could just point the gun and just wouldn't you win every time? I think about things too much. Anyway, next up is Nick Doroff. Which Viking would host their own show on HGTV? That's a HGTV. You don't necessarily need the know-how, but you do need a personality. Although, what was that show? No, Fixer Upper is great. I'm thinking about Flip or Flop, right? So it was the husband and wife. I think they got divorced, but it was always a weird show because the show, of course, reality TV has to be formulaic to a degree. But now I need the picture. Flip. Yeah, these guys. I think they're divorced. I think she has her own show now. All right, so Tarek, yeah. All right, so Tarek, every single episode, when they do the floating talking head things outside the property, it was always like, well, we're having some problems, and if we don't get this house done in time and on budget, that's going to be a big problem. Like, no shit. Like they could probably just cut and paste that for every single episode. Maybe they did, and we just didn't notice. Yeah. Let's see who would be good on HGTV. Well, I would have said Everson, but he gone. Kirk would be hilarious in that like cringy, awkward way, sort of like how The Office is funny. I think Anthony Harris would be really good. I think Michael Pierce would be good. He's got a lot of free time now. Well, I was going to say Thielen, but then, I think he might be a little bit too Minnesota reserved. Yeah. Next up is Stanley Morris. Is Marcus Golden still a free agent? Well, so Marcus Golden was an unrestricted. He got the unrestricted free agent tag, which they call it like the Rule 5 thing. No, it's not the Rule 5. Lucky. So the Giants whipped out this one tag that I hadn't even heard of. It's extremely rare. Giants placed an unrestricted free agent tender on Golden, meaning if he remained unsigned by July 22nd, he could only sign with the Giants for the 2020 season. If he signed with another team, the Giants would receive a compensatory pick, signed a 1-year tender, and it's only like $5 million. I had never heard of this before they applied it. It's kind of gangster. Like, frankly, why wouldn't teams do this for every single player? I mean, you still get a comp pick even after the window. And also, they don't have to sign him. I don't know. But yeah, he's off the market. Bawat Daba. Should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame? Yes. Yeah, because I understand, the whole desecration of the game. Bart Giamatti really had a hard-on for Pete Rose, but, I mean, he's the all-time hits leader. Charlie Hustle. Yeah, he's an absolute legend, and yes, he does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame because I understand that Rose's transgressions were technically involved with the game, but if you want to go down that road about moralizing, I mean, why is Ty Cobb in then? Like, Ty Cobb was one of the most vicious racists in baseball history, right? So you're going to take Ty Cobb out if you're going to leave Pete Rose out. I think it's stupid. So like baseball writers, like they're way more pricks and sanctimonious than even NFL Hall of Fame voters. They just are. Not getting in Hall of Fame. Or like, so Ken Griffey Jr. was not a unanimous Hall of Fame selection just because what was their pretense that Babe Ruth wasn't a unanimous Hall of Fame selection? Like, how stupid. And also, every single time there's a slam dunk Hall of Fame candidate, there will be one writer who doesn't vote him in, and then that writer will write an article, why I didn't vote for Ken Griffey Jr. to be in the Hall of Fame. And it'll be like this full-on like soapbox, just like ivory tower, pie in the sky. Is like, oh, I'm getting attention now. Here's that side of attention you ordered. It's so moronic. It just really is. Like, you're going to tell me that Ken Griffey Jr. Was in a first ballot Hall of Famer? Get the hell out. Honestly, if you do that grandstanding thing, you should have your Hall of Fame vote pulled. You should. Absolutely should. Next up, Gage Standen. What do you think about the Seattle corner trying to sneak a woman into the team hotel? Well, that was an early 2000s Viking story, for sure. Like, if Red McComb still owned the team, that would have happened for the Vikings. I do respect his... I do respect the lengths that he went to. I mean, it must be a very special lady. But it's just freaking hilarious. Didn't they cut him? He wasn't that good. Probably wasn't going to make the team, but it's just still funny. Stanley Morris. Like, what would happen if, like, DK Metcalf tried to pull that? Like, or Jamal Adams. That's a better example. What are you going to do? You going to cut Jamal Adams? Please. Stanley Morris. Why is Ezra so low on the depth chart? What do you think is how did? Well, veterans always get the benefit of the doubt from coaches. Ties and even not ties go to the veterans, especially early in camp, especially this season with no OTAs. No rookie camps, no mini camps. So it's just the rookie has to earn his keep. And it's like when they have the number 1 overall pick quarterback start on third team. Like, I'm sure Joe Burrow is in Cincinnati. Like, Carolina did that with Cam Newton, where it's like, okay. Okay. Yeah, Jimmy Clausen's going to start over Cam Newton, please. And it's absolutely nothing to freak out about. Like, if he's still running third team towards the end of the season, like, I actually don't expect Ezra to start just because Kubiak and Dennison. But if he's still running third team exclusively towards the end of camp, then maybe be worried. Next up, Stanley Morris. College is stupid. The NFL is going through the season. Situations are ultimately the same. Sir Purnell was. No reason the big conferences should walk away from the money. Please, Joe Burrow. Well, it is slightly different to a degree because they're still student athletes, and the NFL, even though they have larger rosters than baseball and basketball, I mean, they can still operate in a quasi bubble. Also, like, colleges can scream poor even though they rake in $1 billion. The NFL level of testing is going to be, because what was it, $75 million for testing this year for the NFL, which is, a drop in the bucket. Now, colleges, if they were serious about it, they could certainly do that. Even though they do have larger rosters, college teams typically have about 100 players combined between non-scholarship players and scholarship guys. Then you have support staff. Then you have this. Then you have that. But also, it's always funny to me. So, well, you don't have to travel with the full team. Like, you could probably bring 60 players on the road with you. Support staff, coaches, will say that's 100 players, 100 people, just for ease of math. So now you could charter a plane. Some of these schools have private planes at their disposal, or no, private, like commercial airlines at their disposal. Even though that's oxymoron, whatever. So they could travel safely. They certainly have the money to do it. It could have gotten done. And it's not like these players are leaving campus, because they're still going to be going to class. They're still going to be training. They're still going to be in the facilities. So you're telling me that all that is safe, as well as you're welcoming in tens of thousands of students back to campus with minimal testing and contact tracing and all of the things that you've talked about. But so that's safe, as well as it was pointed out yesterday that some Big Ten schools are still running intramurals. So that is safe. So what would it be, like 5 road trips during the year? Like, you can't do that. Yeah, you can't keep 100 people safe as they travel and play in front of an empty stadium. Can't do that. Nah. Piss poor leadership by the Big Ten. There should be transfers. There will be transfers. I think they'll have decommits from a lot of recruits. I think, frankly, a lot of boosters are pissed. I think this is a very short-sighted decision by the Big Ten as well as the Pac-12. I think that there will be massive ramifications from this. I think that there will... so the big Power 5 conferences, I think there will be a schism between that too. I think a lot of the Big Ten and Pac-12 teams will fall even further. The USCs, the Oregons, the Ohio States, the Michigans, the Penn States, they'll be fine. But yeah, you tell me Rutgers football ain't going to hurt from this. You tell me Nebraska ain't going to hurt from this. Nebraska still wants to play as well. You look at the state of Iowa. Iowa State can play. Iowa cannot. Yeah, how does that work? You are literally in the same state. Your campuses are a couple hundred miles apart. Like, how does that work? Huh? Please. There's going to be a lot of people that's going to be hurt by this, and I think it was a massive overreaction. Certainly can be done. It is being done. Next up, what's the deal? I just moved to PA, and the first people today. Well, so I understand. Like, well, what if one player gets COVID and has some issues? Well, what about meningitis? What about tuberculosis? What about the flu? What about H1N1? What about Ebola? What about that? Other than that, I have no feelings on the issue. What's the deal? I just moved to PA, like Pennsylvania, or like Paul Allen's house. And the first today people I talked to were Vikings fans. Any clue why there are a lot of Vikings fans in Pennsylvania? I have no idea. I'm trying to think. Do the Vikings have any like Pennsylvania players are big? I don't know. Oh, Harrison Hand. There you go. The Pride of Temple. I actually don't even know. Let's see. Reply. Thomas Miles Jr., my best friend, bought me a Kirk Dirt shirt, but I told him his team will win the Super Bowl because of Teddy. He doesn't agree and thinks we will do better. I tried to tell him Teddy, but he says, who's he going to throw to? Oh, so he's a Panthers fan? Who's he going to throw to? He's just going to throw to McCaffrey 17,000 times, because wasn't that always the knock on Teddy? Oh, he's Charlie check down. Just throwing to McKinnon all the time. I mean, McCaffrey, respect. He's a stud. As well as DJ Moore, respect. He'll be fine. Ted's going to do great things. Oh, yeah. Joe Yeah, Joe Brady is going to just do awesome things with Teddy. I have no doubt. All right, so that is it. That is it, Jeromes. That's today's daily live stream. Back Monday, 11 a.m. Central Time, as well as the add-on 2:15 p.m. on Monday afternoon, as the Vikings will be live streaming their practice. We'll do a companion live stream. It'll be a great time. Enjoy yourself this weekend. You want to support the work, purplefdw.com/support. It's also the top link in the description, all the various ways that you can help out the channel. Get yourself some on it. Get yourself some new mood, as well as you can save 10% off if you use a promo code, get a mattress, all that stuff. Be safe this weekend. Keep your head up. Dalvin extension is happening. That is all. Skull, production value.